Hello, MBC. Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How's your body now?
Fine, sir. I'm doing well, so I'm doing better.
Nice to see you. IPM.
How's been your day, sir?
Fine, thank God. Ciao, PM. Good evening. COM. Good evening. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
We can hear you. Good evening.
We are live on YouTube. I've tried to link up with the Facebook channel. It's not going through, so I tried Live TV.
Okay, no problem.
Let's monitor it and see if it's going through. Thank you. Can we prompt ECM?
Hello, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me.
Hello, ma'am. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
That's great. Let me quickly share my screen, then we'll kick off the meeting. Okay, can we confirm you can see my screen?
Roger on that, yeah.
All right, fantastic.
You can put it on slideshow.
Okay, all right. Welcome everyone. It seems to be a slow Saturday, maybe because of the rain, but we should all still be thankful for the weather we get, because the farmers need the rain for their plants, and we also need the rain to wet the grounds and give us good harvest. So while we are grateful for the sun, let us remember to also be grateful for the rain as well. So we hope no one is caught under the weather, and we're all safe and secure in our homes or any location. And if you have anybody that you know is supposed to be here and they are not here, for those of us who are currently on the, in the seminar, let's just put out a quick chat, or also put on your WhatsApp message. You can put your WhatsApp status so that people can see that, oh yes, you're already at the meeting. So in case people have forgotten, this is like a prompt for them. So while I'm doing the introduction and going through the agenda, let us just take time out to call people, because what we're sharing here is useful information for everybody. And it would be nice if your friends and your family and your loved ones are acquaintances as well, are all part of this. So let's skip that chat. Let's start updating our Facebook and all our social media platforms that we're here, so that people can also join. Post the WhatsApp link as well. So let me formally welcome everybody to the 8th LICEF HSC seminar for the year. Welcome to the month of August. In a couple of days, we'll be starting a new month, the 9th month of the year. We are glad that you're all here with us, and we hope that we'll continue to run this through every month with everybody in attendance. So today is a special day for several reasons. The topic is one that applies to everybody, from the home front to the work front, wherever you find yourself. We are all Boy Scouts in regards of we all always need to be prepared. It's also special because our VP Operations and co-founder of LICEF, he's the one who has decided that this very important topic, he wants to take it because it's something very near and dear to his heart. So this 1 hour with us, believe me, you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be rich, it's going to be insightful, and you're going to have a good time. Our agenda, as usual, we're going to keep it within the 60-minute margin, and we're going to start with our safety moment and run through the mission and vision for those of us who are new here. And we'll also talk about our emergency preparedness topic, which is going to be presented by our Vice President Operation. Of course, we have a segment for questions and comments. And as usual, we don't want you to feel you come here and listen and go back empty-handed. You have the opportunity to win beautiful prizes when you answer our question. Remember, it is always fastest correct fingers first. And we'll roll out our HSC campaign for the month of September. Then our amiable president will take us away with the closing remark. So while we're all here in our usual fashion, we want to get to know ourselves. So introduce yourself, go to the chat section, just simply put your name and who invited you. We always like giving commendations where people do this kind of work on the behalf of LifeSelf. When you spread the word, we want to always commend you for the good work. So please let's just do that quickly. Put on the chat section. As you see the example there, I am Victor Boniface, invited by Aisha Okiki. So very quickly run through the safety moments. While we're talking about emergency preparedness, first aid forms part of that. And something that we have different views on how to manage is a topic on fainting. So we hear when they say people are feeling dizzy or something, some people decide that putting a spoon with salt in the mouth is the best way to go. Some people feel pour the person water. And several other things that we've heard over the years. So let's hear from the professionals what the best procedure to use when you are faced with someone who is about to faint, already fainted, and the likes. So the video will run for 2 minutes, 41 seconds. Please.
To function properly, our brains rely on a continual flow of oxygen, which is carried in our blood. When this blood flow is temporarily reduced, you may feel a little dizzy, sick, or just odd. And if it is reduced for long enough, you may actually faint. Fainting is a short-term loss of consciousness, and some people are more prone to fainting than others. There are potentially many reasons why someone may faint, and these include anxiety, hunger, pregnancy, stress, tiredness, pain, being too hot, or long periods of standing or sitting still, which causes the blood to pool in the legs, reducing the amount of blood reaching the brain. If someone thinks they're about to faint, help them to lie down immediately, as this will help them to restore the blood flow to the brain. It is not advisable to ask them just to sit down, as fainting while leaning forwards risks them falling and hurting themselves further. If you're indoors, ask someone to open a window, as fresh air may help them to recover. When someone has fainted, lay them on their back and raise their legs by about 30 centimeters. Keep them supported, either by resting their legs on your shoulders or by using a box, bag, or some other object to support them. This will improve the blood flow to their brain, and they'll normally recover quite quickly. As they are starting to recover, calmly tell them what's happened, as they may be confused or disorientated. When they're feeling okay, help them to their feet in stages, as standing up too quickly may cause them to faint again. If they do feel faint while getting up, get them to lie down and again raise their legs until they fully recover. If they do not regain consciousness quickly, open the airway and check for breathing, then follow the process of treating an unconscious casualty. It's not necessary to ring the emergency services unless the person has fallen and hurt themselves or they don't regain consciousness. However, it may be prudent to call a family member or a friend to escort them home. If the casualty is in the late stages of pregnancy, they should lay leaning forwards on their left side, and this will help prevent the restriction of blood flow back to the heart. Regular fainting may be due to an underlying health concern, so should fainting occur often, or if you're at all concerned, it may be best to speak to a doctor. If someone faints during exercise or has a seizure after fainting, you should always alert the EMS.
Okay, so we got that. And then now we know the procedure for assisting someone who has fainted or about to faint. So please go to the internet, check YouTube, and when you're checking YouTube, ensure you're looking at reputable medical centers and medical facilities when you're trying to get this information, because you know the internet, it's a deep hole of so much information, and not all of them is true. So to our first question of the day, question number 1, remember it is fastest, correct, fingers first. So fainting is that's asking what fainting is. A form of art. B, short-term loss of consciousness. C, stomach ache, D, form of treatment. So go to the chat section for our very good listeners. Go to the chat section now and just put quiz in capital letter, put the answer, then add your phone number. We'll move on. In the month of August, we celebrated several special days, which we reviewed last month. And we hope that one way or the other, you were able to commemorate one of these days. It was mostly the month for animals and also the month for World Breastfeeding as well, and the youths. So we hope the youths amongst us were able to do something special last week on the 21st of August. Coming to the month of September, we have World Maritime Day. We have International Day to Preserve the Ozone Layer, which is a very, very big topic in looking at global warming. Then we have World Heart Day as well. So HSC, the H of it, for those of us who don't know, is health. The S is safety, and the E is environment. So we see September is a month that has all of those represented here. So we have the heart part for the World Heart Day. Then we have the safety part for the World Peace Day. Then environment, we have the E part, that's the World Maritime Day and the International Day for the ozone layer. So the month of September is a month whereby we are putting all these practices together to ensure that we are doing our part. So please let us think about more ways we can reduce waste, less pollution to our ocean. Let us take the month to do more exercises and also ensure that we encourage peaceful coexistence amongst ourselves. So very quickly, our vision as a group is to make sure that leadership, health, safety, and environmental activities are an indispensable necessity in human existence. Our aim and objective is to connect with as many selfless and highly passionate individuals that see the need to leave a positive legacy in leadership, health, safety, and environment in our society. Our mission is to involve and engage highly enthusiastic, selfless, and professional personalities through methodological research approaches to effect all HSC and leadership set goals. And our slogan is Leading for Legacy. So if you want to know more about our association, we have our website which has detailed information about all we do and all we stand for. And our slogan is for, we're pushing HSC down to the grassroots. So that's why you have our meetings we have children, we have young adults, we have older people, we have people in the working profession, everybody represented here, because we believe that HSC is not something we just do at work, it's something we do everywhere, every time, every day. So without further ado, I want to introduce our very, very strong, indefatigable, awesome, never tiring Vice President Operations to come and give us this very, very important topic on emergency preparedness. Mr. Vice President Ops, the floor is yours.
Good evening, all. I want to use this medium to thank you all for making our time to come to this webinar. As earlier called, the topic for discussion this month is emergency preparedness, a review on the family, schools, and community planning and responsibility. What do we stand to benefit from this presentation? I want us to watch this video, after which we'll continue. Please pay attention. From that video, it brings us to an introduction to what we want to discuss about. So pathetic. Some persons died, some persons got injured. It's a scary video indeed. It was trending on the social media. And what is the lesson we want to learn? During the course of this presentation, we are going to define emergency and bring it to the barest understanding of everyone in this room. We're also going to look at 6 steps to an organized emergency. What is the school emergency plan your kids are attending? Are you familiar with them? What about the domestic emergency response, the roles and responsibilities you have when it comes to these aspects? The learning outcome at the end of this presentation, all participants who have paid attention should be able to design a school emergency plan and also have a basic understanding of domestic emergency response, our roles and responsibility in emergency situations. We are advised not to wait, but communicate. Make your emergency plan known today. Now, what is emergency, we might ask? Emergency is a sudden unexpected event, a situation that can happen at home, can happen in school, and also happen within our community. Whenever this situation happens, it requires an urgent need for assistance or relief. Now, what are the types of emergencies we are talking about? Fire outbreak, bomb explosion, failed structure and collapse. What about kidnapping, banditry, flood, just to mention a few. Parents, teachers, you're supposed to discuss this with your students, and parents also need to discuss it together as a family. Now, our mind goes to of March 2020 in Lagos, Nigeria. The school you are seeing in that picture known as Bethlehem College. 2020 was a sad year because that year was a period we had the COVID-19 lockdown and also coming out from the opening of school. Schools were open. Look at this fine, beautiful structure. The end result of that school is what you are seeing at the right. That lady you are seeing there happens to be the principal or the head of the school who did all what she can to rescue the students. Statistics prove that a father, a mother, and 2 sons died while they were going to the church. The Bethel principal also died. Students also got injured, and several of them were in the hospital. Over 200 persons were displaced. Houses were destroyed as reported by NEMA and LASEMA. That is just one. Another one also happened 17th of June 2021. The OPIC building along Ikeja. At least 505 bodies were recovered from the debris. What was the cause of this? Preliminary findings shows quite well that it was an LPG tanker that suddenly exploded midnight on Thursday 17th at Maryland in Ward Ikeja, along Mobolaji Bank, Anthony Way. Several vehicles were destroyed. Houses also were damaged. Several lives also were involved in these bloody incidents. That is OPIC building. Look at the outcome of it and look at the tanker as seen in that picture. These pictures are just brief explanation of how emergency situations look like. But the beautiful thing is that if you're familiar with what to do when it happens, you will not panic. You will not fear. You only activate the plan you have in mind. The first question on this session, following the second quiz on the whole program, is list at least 5 types of emergency situations we've mentioned so far. Please go to the chat box. List at least 5 types of emergency situations we've mentioned so far. Remember, the fastest correct answer gets the quiz as winners today. So going on, let's go further. Families. When we talk about families, who do you consider as family? Yes, we have made to understand that we have the father, the mother, the children makes up the family. At this point in time, when planning, we want to take cognizance fact of our immediate family, our extended family, if they are with us, our friends, our neighbors, those ones we see every day, plan for them. For example, you have a steward, you need to plan with the steward in your house. If you have a visitor, your uncle, your mother, your aunt, they also become your family as at when you are planning for emergency situation. Now, prepare your family. Develop a communication plan, how you want to get out or react or respond when there's an emergency within your environment, within your family, within your apartment. Develop an evacuation plan. Determine what and what is supposed to be put inside the emergency supply kit, which you're supposed to get within your family. If you don't have that, you just need to have that. Also, are you familiar with the school plan of your children? Family needs to be aware of the communication plan the school also have. So it's intertwined. They're integrating themselves. School plan also needs to be in line with that of the plan the parent have. For example, if there's an emergency in the school, if there's an emergency at home, where's the meeting place so that these children should know them? What are the evacuation procedure in case there's a fire outbreak? Do you also carry out a procedure whereby they can get help? How could this help come? How do we know when they are genuine help? Family roles and responsibility need to be assigned by the head of the family. In case there's an emergency, who do what? When are you supposed to do it? What is the total number of people you have in the house? How many of them need to be brought in? When are you supposed to go out? All these are simple understanding that needs to have. On the screen, you see a sample communication plan. The sample communication plan you are seeing here shows a home, a work, a school, a vacation, shopping on the road, out of town, and events. Take, for example, you are at home. The communication plan at home differs from the communication plan in school, especially when you as a father or a mother, you are the place of work. If you're on a vacation, there's supposed to be a developed plan understood by you yourself and the family members and the team that are you in that plan. When you are going for shopping, you get to ShopRite, you get to a big mall, and all of a sudden there's a bomb blast, there's a blast that throws people outskirts and make them become uncomfortable. What do? You just want to run away when people are running to the south, you are running to the north, and at the end of the day, you miss yourself? That will not be fine. We are advised to always make a plan that can suit us and communicate that plan to each member of the family. It is wise while you are making that plan as a family, you also need to understand the family contact. Who are we supposed to call in case there is an emergency? Mom, Dad, in case I didn't see you, who do I reach out to? Apart from that, I remember when we were presenting this slide in some schools, some students don't know their parents' numbers. It is good that your primary number should be known by all kids. Family members should have an alternative number that can be reached when they are out of the state or out of the country. Now, let's look at an example of an evacuation procedure. You can practice these at home. In this apartment, we have 4 persons inside. Most likely, there is this perception that fire always comes from the kitchen. But statistics have shown quite well that it's not just only from the kitchen. It can be from your bedroom, from the lobby, from the sitting room. But at this instance, we are looking at the fire coming from the kitchen. If there's a fire in the kitchen, this family have already designed a plan. And the plan they designed is that when there's a fire outbreak, they are all supposed to come out and meet at a point. You see, nobody is going towards the kitchen. Everybody is taking maybe the sitting room out of the house. Now, where will they get to? Where's the destination? Just look at the next slide. You see, there's a grouping spot. They all gather, no matter how numbers of them, they gathered at that grouping spot. They are there doing what? It's not praise and worship. It's not that shouting about the fire. It's not, they are planning. What next should we do? And how do we go about this? These are things you as a family and also all team in your house should plan for. Like I said earlier on, do you know the school plan of your children? Do you have the contact information current? School proprietors, you are expected to update the contact details of this parent. We visited a school and the proprietor was telling us of a student who have changed residence. And the details of what they have in their school, this child had medical condition. They need to reach the parents. They try the numbers, they're not going. They have to go to their former house, whereas they've left the house. It is not a good practice. Do you also have an authorization that is required to release your child in case you are incapacitated? Discuss this with the teachers or the parents during the school teachers forum. Each school should have a plan. It is responsible on your part for you to also look at the plan that is inculcated in your children's school so that you can integrate that into your own plan as parents. You can choose any of those places as your meeting place. Outside your home, you could choose the front yard. In our places of work, we have a designated muster point. But you can decide to use the outside of your compound. You can also take a decision to use a place away from your home. What about your place of worship? Are you familiar with the mosque that happens to be a legend or a strategic place and safe from the issue that is happening within your environment? Are you living in an estate and there's a park that is also clear? What about a school? You can also choose any meeting locations that will suit your own purpose. Discuss this when you get there. What to do, what you need to get, and also what are the things you need to bring out from the home. All these plans need to be discussed. Another good point we need to let you understand is that you can practice this exercise. In our places of work, we carry out weekly drills. These drills prepare us in case there is an emergency. There's nothing wrong if the father or the mother wake up as early as 5 a.m. and ring the alarm and say, fire, fire, fire. Just see how your children, your family members will respond to. And at the end of the day, have a debrief. Discuss it. And in case this happens, this is just the way we need to improve on, or this is what we are supposed to do. When we do that, we'll be keeping our family safe. Parents should also assign roles to the grown-up children on how they can be able to switch off utilities, the gas cooker, the gas cylinders, and also, if possible, the control bars of the electricity in your house. Parents, you are expected to also learn how to use the fire extinguishers. It's so appalling when you see a person in an emergency. He has a fire extinguisher in his hand, but he cannot be able to use it to quench the fire in his vehicle. Situations can also cause that when you are panicking and you are also scared. You don't even know what to do. But at this point in time, if you practice it, it becomes part of you. You see yourself doing it seamlessly. Develop an evacuation plan for your pets. If you have dogs, don't run away and leave your dogs. Don't run away and leave your cats. They are part of your family. Parents, gather your children. Let them be involved in assembling your emergency supply kits. We've discussed about the family. Remember, we are going to the next subject, which is that of the school. We want to keep our school safe. I hope we have proprietors, we have principals, we have head of schools, we have teachers, we have parents. And no parent want to put his child in a school that is just only beautiful, but you want to see that the school is safe for your kids to attend. Practice, plan, prepare. Get yourself ready for these interesting parts. Now, why do we have a school emergency plan? The simple answer, it is aimed at helping the school administrators, the staff, the teachers, the students to be prepared in case there's an emergency. Remember I said earlier on, emergency could be any sudden situation that pose natural hazard to us. It could be fire outbreak, it could be flood, it could be earthquake, it could be explosion, which you are not prepared for. The idea and the responsibility on you as head of school is to see how you can protect the children and yourself. Remember that principal, she died in the point of trying to rescue the students in the school. We don't want that to happen to any one of us. Now, a typical example is a well-designed school disaster response plan. That is the school building. And under the school building, on your right, you see an evacuation assembly area. Do you have the total number of students in your school? Every day they come to school. Do you have a total number of the students that are in school? Even the visitors. It is advised that you carry out a roll call attendance. Supplies for drinking water and food sanitation should also be included. Also, we also have the aspect of the triage area. What is the triage? This is a place that is also should be tagged for this purpose. We have a search and rescue group supervisor who manage this aspect in case there's an emergency. On the screen also, you see a first aid area where we have an immediate response that should be given to a person that is facing an emergency situation. This first aid must be provided by those who have the skill to deliver on them. We also have that of the area whereby family can unite. When there is a situation, when there is an emergency, we are fond of rushing down to the scene. But at this point in time, as a school proprietor, try as much as possible to organize your school in a way whereby, even though there's an emergency, you can still manage the inflows of parents that will be coming. And truly, if the parents trust your arrangement, I promise you, they will key into it and they will always allow this arrangement to work fine. Remember, you are supposed to design this plan in case there's an emergency. Now, what are the emergency evacuation plan you have? First of all, the evacuation activity short of somebody should be designated to arrange persons to get to the assembly or the muster area designated for this purpose. The student must be familiar with that. Sometimes you might integrate those security men to get involved in this. Utilities also need to be prevented so that it does not get damaged. What do you need to do to prepare this plan? The advice here is prepare an evacuation route, design it. Train your staff exactly on how they are supposed to evacuate the students in case there's an emergency of this situation. What will the teacher do if there are injuries? Will the doors be marked? What is the buddy system policy? How can they make sure that everyone has been evacuated? Do they have the total number of the students that were in school that day? Note, these little things, if not stated beforehand, it will cause a bigger problem for you as a school and the student within your school. The step 3 we need to take up again is that of teaming up. When there is an emergency, carry out a roll call attendance. Don't just be quick to just pull out numbers you can pull out. Reach out to this one. Someone should be designated with this responsibility to carry out a roll call attendance. What do you mean? For example, we have a grade 5 and they have 5 students there. When you gather, can you call all of them to ask their name and answer and give them their numbers so that you know the total number of people that were in the school? What are you supposed to do? Communicate this plan. It's very important. A typical example of what you're seeing here is a school plan that is designed for a population of over 600. Note, when you are designing yours, take cognizance of the fact that your school population might differ from this. It might be lesser and also it might be bigger. So when you are doing that, there is supposed to be an incident commander. Somebody must take charge, a PIC. Then you must have a search and rescue team. You have a medical operation of which where you have the first aid team. You have the utility and the security should be responsible for this. And the person that's going to take charge when it comes to the assembly point, the muster point, someone should be responsible for this. Remember, all of these supervisors report to the incident commander when it happens. Then we also have the search and rescue team. We have the leader and also we have the member. In situations like this, some schools have thought it fine to bring out the grown-up students, integrate them into this plan so that they themselves, not just being a school prefect, but they are integrated into the emergency plan of the school. Just like you integrate the children and the plan at home, you need to integrate the student with the responsibility they can definitely carry permanently while they are also carrying this out. Like I said earlier on, the incident commander is the person that is in charge of providing direction and the responsibility that is needed for this. The team leaders also are the ones that is going to coordinate the efforts of the members. And the team members are members who should be at least 2 members or maximum of 4 so that they themselves can support the arrangement. It is good to inform you that as an NGO, a non-profit organization, LISEF will be so willing and ready to work with your school to develop and practice this, your plan, if you need their assistance. The third question on this quiz now is, what should be in a school emergency disaster plan? What should be in a school emergency disaster plan? You are advised to at least, if possible, drop 3 in the chat box. Remember these 4 points. 4 points that are needed in emergency management is trying as much as possible to prepare. Preparedness requires you planning, training, exercising, rehearsing, thinking if this could happen, what should you do? The next is your response. You don't react to emergency. You respond positively. When you react with a sudden fear. So you only respond based on what you are prepared to do. The recovery plan should be the effort that have been put in place to make sure that you reduce this disaster after it has happened. Then the mitigation plan is trying as much as possible to reduce the future reoccurrence of this disaster. I'm sure when we put this in practice, it will help us to keep our school and our homes safe. The beautiful thing about all this is that a unified family also assists in having a beautiful community. The community response plan when it comes to emergency can be tagged as SAT, Community Emergency Response Team. Apart from the security team and other ESCOs you have within the community, it is advised that community ESCOs and members of the community should put team in place to be able to activate response when there is emergency. Some environments are suffering the issue of flood. Some are also suffering the issues of insecurity. How do you manage this? There are agencies of government that have been put in place to manage this situation for us. But we can always try as much as possible to liaise with them when we have our own plan in place. Some of these agencies are the Nigerian police. Sometimes we may laugh about them. The response time when there's emergency, the Federal Fire Service, National Emergency Management Team like NEMA and LASEMA, NCDC when there are situations like that. But do you know what they do? Do you know their contact? For example, the police in modern society, they are responsible for crime prevention, crime detection. We have them within our society. You have their contact number, call 112. Take responsibility by trying to ensure that your environment is safe. Contact the police when there are situations of kidnapping, when there are armed robbery, when there are security threats within your community, security threats within your school. You are expected to call them, get them involved. And also if there are situations of banditry like we have currently happening within the country today. The emergency number in this aspect is 112. What are the functions of NEMA? NEMA is a federal level in Nigeria, but we also have that of LASEMA. LASEMA has also been they have been functioning as expected. What are their response? They try as much as possible to go out for search and rescue, policy and strategy when it comes to situations of emergency. And sometimes we are familiar with the relief they give, but it goes beyond that. They are also responsible when it comes to advocacy and education in reducing these. The LASEMA in Lagos State also try as much as possible to coordinate fire service when there are situations. Good to note, the last incident we mentioned in June, also the LASEMA supported the fire service team to reduce the high impact it would have had within the society in Ikeja. When there are collapsed buildings, when there are search and rescue operations, environmental pollution, crowd control, when there are situations within the society, you see these agencies get involved. If you are not familiar with them, if you don't integrate them into your community plan, you just react negatively and panic. If care is not taken, get yourself injured. Now, I said earlier on about the fire extinguisher. Within your home, within the school, do you know how to use the fire extinguisher? It's a simple word. All licensed marshals in our schools and also the students that are also registered in the school are familiar with this word. By pulling the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, sweep side to side. It is advised that all members of the family within the society, within the school, know how to use the fire extinguisher. Now, what are some of those things we are supposed to have within our bags when we are going out in emergency? The 6 basic items you are expected to include in your emergency bag is water, food, the first aid kit, clothing and bedding, tools, and just to mention few. Now, what are the quantity? We are advised to put 1 gallon per person within the bag. The food should be canned, dehydrated food, and also powdered food. High energy food bars, we don't need to put amala or beans or the rest of them, things that we can easily use to manage ourselves in situations of this sort. Now, the emergency kit also that should be included, the blankets. When you move out from your environment, what do you sleep on? The bags, the toilet paper, the plastic trash bags, and also the hand sanitizer, which is very important. We also advise also to have a first aid kit with a manual, if possible, a portable battery operated radio, your fire extinguisher, no matter how small it is, you just need to have one. Whistle, so that in case you want to alert people, especially within the community and within the school environment. If you've been following through, we are coming to the end of this presentation. And the last part of this presentation is this third quiz and the final quiz for this presentation. Mention at least 5 things that must be in your emergency kit. Mention at least 5 things that must be in your emergency kit. Remember the first and correct answer. From the foregoing, I know you have been able to follow through when it comes to emergency preparedness, our review on the school, the family, and the community. We are using this medium to notify you that as a LICEF organization, we will be willing and ready to support you in developing a very suitable, well-tailored plan for your school, for your family, for your community, so that we can be able to complement what the government agency have within our society and we all remain safe. For now, I remember my humble self, Faith Barry. Thank you for the time.
Wow, that's a good one. Thank you, BPOps, for this exciting and eye-opening presentation. Without wasting further time, we want to entertain at least 2 questions. If you have a question, you can raise your hand or unmute your mic and ask the speaker. While we do that, we'll be working on announcing the winners of the quiz session. I think COM is working on that. All right, question. If you have a question, raise your hand, unmute your mic, tell us your name, and then.
Bolali is there.
Okay, Bolali, go ahead, unmute and ask your question.
I'm in a meeting.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Faith. You didn't disappoint us. We really learned a lot. But I just want to ask a question. I was thinking of telling my child's ed teacher about this. What do I really need to tell her? Or should I just give her your contact? Because I've learned a lot and I feel that schools should also imbibe safety in what they are doing. So how do I really tell them about this? Should I give them your contact or I should go? Give you their own contact so you can contact them. I don't know who should contact who.
Okay, I will share your contact to the collegiate operations manager. He's on this call. Then he will follow up from there. He's in charge of the school system. Thank you.
Okay. Any further question? Who again? You have a question? Please raise your hand, unmute your mic, and ask before we go to the next agenda. Okay. Without wasting further time, we believe that CAM is working on the winners of the quiz. While he's working on that, we want to look at the HSC campaign for this month. We know that we are approaching the Ember month and we must take security very, very important, looking at what is happening in the country. As you prepare for the Ember month, please note the following. Do not go out late at night when it's not necessary. Do not go to UJTM and withdraw bulk money, especially at night. Always communicate with your family, loved ones, wherever you are out. You must not try to, display your status because you are well to do and all that, because that can give you away. Remember, there are kidnappers all over the place. And if you don't suspect even your neighbor or anybody around you, you could be a victim. We've seen where neighbors have connived with outsiders to come, kidnap their fellow neighbors. So please plan for your journey. Ensure you have a good journey management. Do not travel at odd hours. Let whoever is with you know where you are at any given point in time, so that people can be able to come to your aid when you are in a situation that is precarious. Okay? All right. Having said that, we want to look at the winners of the last quiz for the month of July. VPS, can you help me beat that slide up? The winners for the last quiz. Okay, thank you. Yeah. The winners for the month of July for HSC webinar, we have the Feyikemi Olufisoye as our household name. We also have Uchendu Gillette. We have the Fehami Olufisoye as the Olufisoye's family, and we have Faith Neji. All right. So I'll hand over to COM right now to go ahead and announce the quiz winner before we call in our president to give the closing remark.
Sorry, HRPM, we are still collating. Can the president give the closing remarks so that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Shortly before the president comes up, I just want to let us know today some greater information in this presentation. We know that if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. If you're not taking anything home from today's webinar, just know that you have to plan for emergency in your house. We've seen people build castles with a lot of money. They don't even have an extinguisher in their house. And within split seconds, the whole castle is raised to rubble. We've seen people buy substandard wiring equipment. All right. And when they had constant light, they heated up and fire got their house. They didn't have extinguisher to extinguish the fire. We've seen children die in their homes. Why? Because parents did not plan for emergency. We've seen stray dogs run into schools and killed pupils that left home hoping to come back home in the evening. They didn't make it. In the area where I stay, we've seen tankers fall on children who were crossing the road returning from school and they died. Please plan, prepare for emergency because it was not announced. And we know emergency situation is a sudden event that occurs unannounced. Thank you. Mr. President, please give your closing remark.
All right, thank you, everybody. Good evening, parents. Good evening, children and friends. It's another month of our webinar. And thank God that we give glory to God. Everyone is alive. For those that are consistent in attending this webinar, we appreciate you all. And we urge you to continue to attend and invite your friends, invite other members of the family to have free consultations, free knowledge, and impartation. I want to believe we've all enjoyed today's topic and the presentation. You know, we are ambassadors of safety and health, and to ensure that our environment is safe at all times, this is the route to follow by having a forum like this for everyone to be imparted as little as possible. And for further engagement, And further expectations, you can consult any of our members on the platform. So we appreciate you all for attending, and we hope to see you next month. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Have a happy weekend. I want to believe that you can also share your opinion about the timing. We would appreciate to have your feedback. It's okay, and because for us, we have a target of 150 people to attend this program. So we want everyone that has been part of us to also ensure that you become ambassadors of this project, so that as many people can share knowledge that we are trying to pass across. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir, President, for that wonderful speech. Without wasting for the time, please COM, we set.
Yes, we are. Okay, I'm going to be sharing my screen. I hope we can all see my screen. Now for the August webinar, we have the following. For the WhatsApp, we have, let's go to the WhatsApp. We have Mr. Modupe Bejide with 69 views. The person is Augustine Audio. We could not, it's undisclosed. There was no number attached to his own post. So Modupe Bejide, once again, you change the prize, you win that prize. And for the social media, that's Facebook and the Instagram, no entries. We want to ask that we present entries. You can send it to entries at leadershipinhlc.org. Every month, there are prizes for each of these entries. Then for highest number of invites, there was no winner. Note, to win, a participant must have invited at least 10 persons. Now for the quiz, the first question, fainting is A. The answer is B, short-term loss of consciousness. Amfife Olufisoye, 4:10 p.m. answered that question. The second question, that is list at least 5 types of emergency situation mentioned so far. Praise Francis at 4:21 p.m. was the fastest person to answer correctly, at least 5 types of emergency. What should be in a school emergency disaster plan? The person is to mention at least 3. The fastest person with the correct answer is Mr. Chukwu Chen at 5:35 p.m. Then the last question, mention at least 5 things that must be in your emergency kit. Mr. Modupe Bejide at 4:41 p.m. mentioned the correct answer. So these are our quiz winners: Fife Olufisoye, Praise Francis, Tochukwu Chendu, and Modupe Bejide. We want to thank all of us that lend our voices to speak or to answer the questions. We have one of our proprietors, one of our one of the schools that we pride ourselves with, Mrs. Ibitoye. Yes, she's here. Mrs. Ibitoye, are you still here? If you talk about the school safety plan. Is Mrs. Ibitoye here? Okay. Yes, she's no longer on call. Some of the proprietors already made their school plan. School plan. Any other person who wants to talk? Mrs. Olufisoye, is she here? You're free to talk. Any other person who wants to talk about the school plans or even emergency plans at home, you could talk about it. While I hand over to the HRPM, Mr. Christian.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to all our winners, and we look forward to having you partake and have more wins. Please, before we wrap it up, if Mrs. Bitoye is in the house, please, we want to just give talk on the school safety plan, a few minutes. If you are in the house, please unmute your mic and just talk about the school safety plan. Are you in the house, ma'am? Or if you have Mrs. Olufisoye in the house, please, can you also say something concerning what we have learned today? Mrs. Victoria, please, or Mrs. Olufisoye. Okay, while we are waiting for them to come up, can we all put on our videos so that we can have a good photo while we wait for any of those people I've mentioned now to come up and speak? Okay, please, can we have our videos turned on while we have a good photograph? Okay, please turn on your videos. Please, and see you, and please, let's have the group photograph. Let me know when you are done with that. Please turn on your videos. We want to see your lovely face. And while we are snapping, say emergency response, so we can see your lovely faces. Thank you. Videos, please let me know when you're done. Sure.
Yes, we're done. Okay. Okay, some are still on in their video. Some are still on in their video. Let's take please. Okay, we're done.
All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for making our time to be part of this wonderful presentation. We know that in no distant time, we will be on the globe, all right, preaching safety, ensuring our workplace is safe, ensuring our homes are safe, ensuring our streets and walls are safe, and we'll be preaching the gospel of safety for you, for me, and for all of us. Everything